My friends, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. If you haven't done so already, please follow me on Twitter, Colin_Gladman. Always the easiest way to keep up with everything that I'm going to be talking about. If I see big news, if I see a great chart set up, just anything that I think might be important as far as market related. And, sometimes we'll throw some jokes out there and have a good time. So please follow me on Twitter, Colin_Gladman. If you're new to the channel, first and foremost, thank you. Please like and subscribe, all that good stuff. If you're an old dog, much love. I appreciate you coming back on a regular basis. Once again, you're going to try to keep these Tuesday, Thursday video market updates on a regular basis. So I don't want to take up too much of your time. I'm going to make this super quick. We'll take a real quick look at futures, at SPY, at QQQ, Tesla, Meta, Nvidia, Apple, Google, and GME, and just kind of follow up what we talked about on Tuesday of this past week. So Tuesday's video, I said that we were going to get the 25-point raise. We got that. And then I also said we were going to get a hawkish Fed. And you could argue between, Powell and then Yellen out there talking about how she wasn't going to necessarily guarantee other deposits were going to be safe. Then that definitely caused a lot of the market to get a little spooked. I told my Discord, I was like, Powell's definitely speaking a whole lot of uncertainty out there. They're acting like as of right now, maybe the terminal rate might, stop at that kind of 5%. So we might have, one more hike ahead of us, but nothing is a certainty. We're going to keep raising if we need to. The banking, he said that, Silicon Bank was an outlier, which it wasn't. They posted many reports about, it being like up to 186 banks, but anyway, whatever. So said it was an outlier, said the banking system is strong, they're going to take care of deposits. Then Yellen came out and said, we don't know if we're going to take care of deposits. So it's more of just like an uncertain mess at this point in time. But the Fed definitely delivered the message that I anticipated, and therefore we got the pullback. So real quick, just kind of what I'm looking for on futures. I know this chart looks like a mess, so let me explain it to you a little bit. There's basically a really strong confluence here of what I'm watching, and the confluence is going to be if I take a fib from the March low to up here at the March high, so looking at this specific range right here, then we're basically just below the 382, so basically 39.84 to 39.80. If we don't hold this range, we start getting some good hourly strong closes below. You just got the 921 cross down on the EMA. You really start to pick up steam here. We're going to see like 39.50 relatively quickly, which is going to be testing that 200-day simple moving average. That's what I'm looking to get under from a bearish perspective. From a bullish perspective, obviously you want to try to stay on top of that. So, but that's overall what I'm looking. So if we don't hang on to this 39.80, 39.50 is going to come relatively quickly. So if we come over here on SPY now, what does that mean for SPY? Well, that means basically 393 to 390, that range has proven pretty tough. That really needs to hold. It's where we pretty much caught a bounce today on SPY. And it's been, massive support back in here as well. So 393 to 390 needs to hold. Otherwise, 380 is going to come relatively quickly. And then if 380 doesn't hold, you can see how important 380 was back here, my friends. So then, and it's where we bounced over here on Monday, March 13th. So if that doesn't hold, then it's going to get ugly relatively quickly. We pretty much got a straight shot to around 350 at that point in time. Once again, nothing's going to go straight up. Nothing is going to go straight down. There's always going to be bounces along the way. You got to remember, market makers are trying to put as much money in their pocket as they possibly can. So just make sure that you are smart about when you enter your options. I'm fortunate enough to be on I've gone green in 24 of the last 24 trades that I've done. All the receipts have been posted on Twitter. If you don't believe me, feel free to go check. So like I scalped a bunch of Tesla today, and I took and I took some profits at like 10 and then 20 and then 27% and then 65%. And the reason that, I do that is because I know that there's going to be bounces along the way. So when it's coming up to areas that I think are going to be bounces, I'm going to take profits. Don't let your options get, chewed up by a price that shoots up and then eventually comes back down. Because once your option contract, once you've got to a good solid target price, if you catch a big rebound, that contract, especially if you're close to expiration, that contract is going to get eaten up. You're you're going to have to come back down and then lower just to have as many gains as you did right here. Don't do that, right? So, well, let me put it this way. Do what's best for yourself, your family, and your portfolio. I don't care. I'm just trying to help. So at the end of the day, we got to hold on SPY, you know, kind of that 393 to 390 range. Otherwise, 380, I think, is going to come relatively quickly. Brief update on QQQ. So we had this nice bull flag breakout on the 200 moving average. You also got the 50 crossing. So you got a golden cross here on QQQ. You got an inside bar, which can lead to a reversal, can lead to continuation. Where it matters or is more important is kind of where it takes place. As of right now, it is definitely taking place towards the top of an uptrend. So how I typically view inside bars is going to be, if I want to see bullish continuation, then I got to break that high, which is 314, or if it breaks 307 to the downside, then that's going to be relatively bearish at that point in time. And you have this breakout. You haven't really come and tested this breakout just yet. So, you know, coming back down here to around, and you can see here the 50 moving average would be crossing up as well. So coming down here and testing around 297 to 300 before a potential bounce makes a whole lot of sense. Tech has 100% been way stronger than the overall market here recently. So Tesla, what I'm looking for, so I made great money here. Tesla was chopping around up here at this 618, 197 to 199 has proven to be really tough resistance on Tesla, and it was just chopping around all morning, and I just knew that, you know, the longer it's going to chop around at this resistance, you know, bulls were obviously not trying to step in and push it up. So I got puts up here in the morning and then was able to take profit and closed it out. So I still have a couple of runners, but I bought a lot of time on those. So, and that's another thing. Always, when in doubt, buy time. If you're certain of the move, but you don't know how long it's going to take, buy less contracts, buy more time. Meta, pretty much stopping right here at the 0.5 at around 208. I mean, pretty much hit it to the penny today. Meta has been pumping out a lot of reversal candles, but it just hasn't yet. Honestly, I think the only thing that's really holding this up is the potential news of a TikTok ban coming. That's what pumped it in originally. Full disclosure, I do already have puts here on Meta, but they're very long dated, so I think Meta is going to come down. I mean, obviously, you got a gap here. Same thing, though. You do have a golden cross back here. That doesn't mean it can't come down, okay? Once again, you don't trade just off of that. Those are all lagging indicators. But getting some strong rejections over the 0.5. But if it does get over the 0.5, I mean, it's got room to 240 relatively quickly. So just be conscious about that if it does. So, but you got a shooting star here on the daily. And let's check out what the volume's looking like. So not super high volume, so that's not too much of a concern, but like I said, definitely kicked off the 0.5. Even if it just came back here and mounted on top of the 382, which is about where the 50 moving average would be, you can see that would fill this gap right here. Obviously, it's got a real big gap all the way down to 153. Gaps fill 9 out of 10 times, so eventually I think this is going to fill no problem. It's just when, you know. So when you play those gaps, you are making essentially a 90% trade. What you're gambling is how much time is that going to take. So, and obviously my overall view on the market is not great. So once again, you know, that's not being a perma bear. That's being a realist, right? So everybody was clamoring, you know, hey, we're going to get rate cuts, or we're going to get pauses, we're going to get pivots, all that kind of stuff. And Powell was basically like, nope, banking structure is fine. We're going to keep cranking this bad boy up. And I do want the Fed to get inflation under control. Inflation has been killing people lately, so they got to get that under control, and the tools that they have available to them is cranking up those interest rates. Also, Meta, not quite overbought, but, you know, is getting a little hot on the daily RSI as well. NVIDIA, the stock that everybody loves to hate, including myself. I am just waiting. I am biding my time on this bad boy. I think it's going to come down. I think it's going to come down hard, at least to come down here. Probably test this the 200 moving average, but definitely at least down here to fill this gap. It's pretty much printed 5 daily reversal candles in a row. You've got a shooting star. You could argue this isn't a hanging man the next day because, 1, the volume is low, 2, it's not really on the top of an uptrend. So, you know, it's not a great candle, okay, but I could argue that, okay, that's not necessarily a hanging man candle. But then the next day, Now you've got a higher volume again, and you've got a dragonfly doji, which dragonflies at the bottom of trends are great, at the top of trends are not great. And then you come over here to the very next day. Now you've got a real high volume gravestone doji, and then now you've got you got an inside bar here on the video as well, but you basically got a higher volume, real low spread spinning top candle. So all of these candles are indicative of reversal. It hasn't happened yet. And I am not, as much as I'm just biding my time, I'm showing patience. I wanted to enter puts right here. However, if I would have done that, you would have just gotten blown out of the water. So I do think, the chips have been running so hot, both NVIDIA and AMD. I do think they have a lot of downside in them, but don't step in front of the freight train. Wait for your confirmation. Apple has gotten above the golden pocket. You had multiple rejections at this golden pocket, did break above, and now is finding support right around that 158 range. If Apple gets underneath about 157, then I would get pretty bearish again. But right now, with all these EMAs curling up, yeah, this is the daily chart. So you actually had... Yep, you had a golden cross here as well. I didn't even realize that. So you got a golden cross here on Apple. I got no position here, but it could, if it consolidates right here, then your most likely push is going to be up to 165. And once again, if tech stays strong, Apple will as well. But obviously, Apple is also a big portion of SPY, so you gotta keep that in mind. So if Apple looks strong, it can definitely hold the overall market up a little bit. So just be cautious of that. Google, what I'm looking for here is this huge, massive row of support that was basically like 106 to 108. Has been kicked off multiple times here. Made a ton of money right here, shorting Google at the top. It's basically overall in kind of a bear flag. So we went from a rising wedge, strong push down. Now it's consolidating in this bear flag. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to, push all the way back down. But Google, this is the point where this move's getting a little tired, in my opinion. Pretty much I would be looking to short between that 106 to 108, assuming the price action keeps getting weak. You get a candle that's just, big old candle that, shows right on through that. Obviously, you don't get in the way of the freight train, but this price action still looks weak. I've definitely got my eye on Google. Bought a bunch of Google down at 90, and I've already gotten rid of it, so looking to short it. So you got a lot of resistance up here in the 106 to 108. You can see where it's been rejected off multiple times. And then, obviously, if it gets rejected off, comes back down here to the low 90s, might be a good spot to potentially add some longs to it. Last but not least, GME. So I said, after the gap up happened, it really needed to stay on top of this point of control. You can see that 200 moving average just said, no, sir, we're not going up any higher than that. And now I think your most likely is coming back down to at least probably that 1950 range. Potentially could be as high as like 22, 21, 22, right in there before potentially curling back up to the upside. But, like I said last time, you can see that GME has just really struggled on this. Let me get rid of the volume here on the side, the VPVR. But so the 200 moving average, GME has really just struggled right here. And then if it does come down, you want to see that 1950 range hold. Once again, massive gap right here, but GME had great earnings, turning a profit. They got a lot of cash in the bank, so overall looks good. As far as AMC goes, just real quick, guys, for those of you that have followed me on Twitter for that, AMC, I don't anticipate a lot happening with AMC until they get the whole lawsuit thing settled out, and then they can move ahead with the reverse split, and we'll kind of see how that goes, but that's not going to be until April, so I anticipate a whole lot of range bound up until then. I also tweeted out that runs in meme stock typically mean tops for markets, and so far that is looking good. So that's just kind of my overall thesis and looking at a bunch of charts. I hope this video was helpful to you. Once again, please like and subscribe, leave me a comment. I'm taking on 5 new people in my Discord this week. 3 of the spots have already been filled, so there's 2 left. If you'd like to join my Discord, there's 2 spots left. You can shoot me a DM on Twitter and I will send you over the link. Much love, my friends. Have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful weekend. Do what's best for yourself, your family, and your portfolio. And I will see you hopefully on Tuesday of next week. Much love, my friends. Have a good one.